All right, so we're at the part where we're actually going to be building an AI agent that has RAG system. Now, this is a simple AI agent with RAG. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's going to get you to really start understanding the components and how to utilize them. Okay, so right off the bat, you can already tell that we're going to be using Google Drive, Pinecone, we're going to be using OpenAI, and of course, we're going to have the AI agent, right? So if you don't have a Pinecone account yet, I suggest you go ahead and get one. It's completely free, and we're going to need it for this lesson. If you have Supabase, we will be using Supabase at some point, but not for this exercise. Maybe we'll do one with Supabase. But right now, we're tackling Pinecone. So go ahead and get your account. It's free. Pause the video, come back to it, and let's get started. Another thing we're going to need is a folder, right, with some dummy documents. I created some real quickly with Claude just for sample purposes. Go ahead and do that with ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, up to you. And just create a folder and drag it in there. Okay, so we're going to create this and let's get started. So the first thing we need is, of course, our handy dandy trigger manual, right? And then the next thing I'm going to need is Google Drive. So let's go ahead and look at Google Drive. And we're going to be looking for a file and folders. And we're not going to be using the search query this time. We're actually going to be going to add filter. We're going to do add folder. We're going to click here and then we're going to start typing. We're going to do rag. Well, this is my folder, the name of it, right? You can see here up there, rag sample. So I'm going to click that. You can name it whatever you want. If you're following this to the T, then go ahead and name it rag sample. So let's see what's in here. I should be getting 3 outputs, right? Perfect. All right, so that's what I want. The next thing we need to do is download the files to the N8N environment. So we're going to go here. We're going to download the file. We're going to leave that as is, leave that as is. We're going to change this from list and we're going to put this by ID. And we're going to be grabbing this. Go to schema. If you're not in schema, you should be, right? Not be in JSON because it's not going to work. Go to schema and then go to ID. And then we're going to test it, right? We should be getting 3 outputs. That's downloads, little square. Yeah, there you go. 1, 2, and 3. All right, the next thing we need to do is add Pinecone. So let's go to Pinecone, create your account. I already have one. We're going to create another one so you can follow to the T. Go to databases. If it doesn't default to indexes, go to indexes and then create an index. Name this whatever you want. I'm going to put just NAN and then we're going to put dash test. Okay. And then under configuration, we're going to be selecting text embedding 3 small. Now, here below is the dimension I was talking about, right, in the what is RAG. Go ahead and change this to 1536. Now, remember, once you pick this, you have to make sure that all the embeddings are the same. If not, it's not going to work. And here's the mathematical thing I was talking about, is using cosine. We're not even going to get into that. So let's continue down. Go to the capacity mode under serverless. Under cloud provider, we're going to pick AWS. So it should be by default AWS. Next, we're going to be picking region, Virginia. And then that's it. Or pick the one that's closest to you, right? I'm going to pick Virginia. We're going to click create index. It's going to start, right? It should show 0 records. Perfect. And we're not going to add anything here. We're going to try to automate this, right? Well, we're going to automate this. So now that we have the index built, we're going to go back to our NA canvas, and then we're going to look for Pinecone, right? Pinecone. And then we need add documents to vector store. All right. Now you can see this is from, this is the one test created. I didn't remember. So you're going to pick the one you just created. So if you're following this example to the T, then it will be an AN test. Embedding batch size, we're going to leave this as is. Now, what is an embedding batch size? So there's pros and cons in adding, incrementing, and decreasing that. Okay, so just a quick one-on-one. The embedding batch size is basically how many vectors are going to be sent at the same time to Pinecone, right? So once we run this, if the vectors determined to be, I don't know, 50, okay, well, we have a batch size of 200 vectors, right? So it is within the 200, so all 50 are going to process at the same time. That's going to be one API call. But let's pretend that we get, we want to do batch size of 10, and we have 50 vectors to process. Well, that's going to be 5 API calls, and it's going to process 10 at a time. Now, here's where the pros and cons come in. If you have 50, if it fails, all 50 vectors get failed because it's batched in 50s, right? But if your batch is 10 and there's 50 of them, now you have, if one fails, so let's pretend, let's go through the scenario. Sample vector batch 10, right? Processes, good. Batch 2 breaks, so 10 vectors are gone. And then batch 3, 4, and 5 process. So you have 40 successful vectors pushed to Pinecone, and the other 10, which is batch 2, did not, right? Now you have to deal with that. The other scenario, all 50 didn't get processed because it just broke, right? So those are pros and cons. For this example, we're just going to leave it as 200. Okay, we're not going to get into the mechanics here. Okay, let's go back. Now we need to put an embedding. So we're going to go and same OpenAI. We're going to pick embedding small. And here we're going to pick dimensions. And the dimensions are going to be 1536, right? Let me delete this again. Add options, dimensions, and then you're going to pick 1536. Okay, that should match what you have here, 1536. Perfect. 1530. One sec. Okay, so 1536. Let's go back. Now the next thing we need to do is add a data loader. Okay, so we're going to do that. And we can see that the data here, the downloaded data, myself, it's binary, right? So we're going to change the type to binary. We're going to leave this as this. We're going to leave this as this. And then we're just going to name, we're going to name this. Should we name it? Yeah, we're going to name it. So we're going to do, let's see, file name. And then we're going to drag this as file name. Okay. One sec. Okay. Perfect. So now we need to add a text splitter, and we're going to go with recursive. Just a quick one-on-one. Character text splitter, it has a hard stop. Okay. I'm going to pick Pinecone, for example. Let's say the text splitter, the character text splitter is 4. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to cut that off, and then it's going to go cone, C-O-N-E. Okay, we don't want that. Recursive character text splitter is a little bit more advanced. It's more balanced, and it goes based on the context as a search here. Well, it doesn't say it here, but it goes based on the context, the semantics. So it's the likelihood of reading Pinecone is higher than by character text. And then token, it's similar to character text splitter, but it's by token, okay? And it's really up to the LLM how they're gonna interpret that. Now we're gonna use recursive character text splitter. We're gonna do the chunk size. So you should recall this by watching What is RAG. 1 second. I had a phone call and I forgot what I left off. So chunking size. If you remember from the previous video, right, from the 4,000 character document, and we chunked it into 4 pieces for 1,000 chunk size. That's basically what this is. Okay, and then we're gonna have a chunk overlap of 200. So what is the overlap? We actually didn't, I don't remember going over this on the previous videos, but basically the overlap is the last 200 characters is going to carry over to the following vector. So meaning vector 1, the last 200 characters, it's going to go to vector 2. Vector 2, last 200 characters is going to go to vector 3, and so forth. Okay? And I think 200, it's okay for now. For what we're doing, we don't really need to get too technical here. So let's get out of there. We have a data loader as binary. Everything looks fine. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's just test it, right? So we're going to go ahead and test workflow. And search, we're downloading the files. This is going to go into Pinecone, data loader as binary, recursive, embeddings, and now you see that we have 36 items, right? So let's go check Pinecone. Let's refresh. And we should have, let me put myself over here, 36 items. Actually, no. We're gonna have the top 10. Let's look for 30. Okay. Then we're gonna have 30. How many did we get? I forget. That's not the one. 36, right? So we should have, gonna go to 40. We should have 36. And it's right there, 36. But I'm not sure. 36 is. Okay. We're gonna get top 10. All right. So we have the RAG pre-process. Okay. Now let's go ahead and build the AI agent, which would be the RAG portion. Okay. Okay, so now what we do is go to the plus sign here, and then we're gonna do add another trigger. Click that, and we're gonna do on chat message. Okay, let's go back to Canvas. Just gonna structure this. We're gonna move things along here, and we are going to add AI agent. Perfect. And now we need to add the chat model we're gonna be using, right? We're gonna be using. I'm gonna be using OpenAI. And we're gonna use Mini. I usually go default to this one. It's very economical model for testing purposes. And then we're gonna use simple memory, and we're gonna just use this text window to 10. Okay. And again, if you don't have simple memory, your AI agent, as you chat along with it, it's just going to have amnesia. Okay, it's just gonna forget. So just go ahead and add simple memory. Okay, tools. Now we're gonna add the Pinecone, right? So scroll down, Pinecone store. We're gonna name, give it a name, which is N8N test, and we're just gonna describe it. We have, we can't do this one. We're just gonna do down. Okay. Yeah, so the name, you can't have dashes, okay? It's either underscores or all together. So like this, all together. All right, so I'm gonna do that. And then we're going to give it a description. You grab files from the vector database and retrieve, information based on the user's query. Okay, that's that. Then we need to choose the Pinecone index, and it's the one we just created, which is tests, right? So we're going to do tests. We're going to leave the limit as to 4. This include meta. Yes, we want the meta. And we don't have a Pinecone namespace. We're going to leave all this as is. Okay, we're going to drag this down. Then we need to add an embedding to our Pinecone, right? Same thing. We're going to do OpenAI. And we need to have the same model, dimensions, same dimensions. So 1535, 36. Okay, 1 sec. Okay, so we have the chat, we have the AI agent, we have the model that we're going to be using to process the brain of the AI agent. We have the simple memory, and we have our vector database. And we have the embeddings, right? So let's just give it a shot, right? Let's see what we're going on here. So let's open chat. I'm gonna move myself. I'm actually gonna make myself smaller here. Boom. There we go. All right. We're just gonna say. Actually, let's look at the documents because I don't remember what I put here. Corporate finance. Let's just open this. Let's ask for something. Let's just do this, right? Corporate finance, and we're just gonna ask, hey, can you give me the summary of? Okay. Hey, can you give me the summary of the file, please? All right, so that's going. Searching. Okay, great. This out. This. All right, and we got an answer, right? So let's move this over here. Move this along here. All right, so we have a summary corporate finance, blah, blah, blah. The guide highlights components, effective financial planning, budgeting process. Is that the same thing? Decision making. Nope, that's not the same thing, right? It's reasoning, it's retrieving the information. You can see that the document's longer, and it's giving us a higher level of information, right? Let's ask another question. So let's look into the investment analyst analysis and capital budget. Let's see. And let's just ask it, hey, are there any IRR? Are there any? Can you give me a quick summary of IRR, please? All right. So again, it's going through the simple memory, Pinecone, embeddings, reasoning, right? And now we get a quick summary, definition, internal discount rate at the net present value, investment becomes 0. So let's talk about WACC. It does, right? And yeah, so that's it. That's your quick RAG AI agent that we just pushed through, right? So again, this is a simple AI agent with RAG. There are more sophisticated things that we would want to add to this, such as namespace, so we can get kind of a little bit more organized on where we're pointing to search and other aspects. Well, hopefully now you get some understanding of RAG. Now that you put in practice, we went over what RAG is, the pre-processing and actual RAG, and now we built an AI agent. All right, I'll see you next video.